Hello friends, good morning and welcome to the new video of this Nukkadcode. And today we are going to learn a very important concept, that is a relationship and has a relationship. So let me write it here first of all. Is a and has. So let's understand what is a relationship and what is has a relationship. Relationship. It's a relationship. Is a relationship and has a relationship. So let us understand it in a very interesting way, and I have a very interesting animal here. You can see here. Let me have it closer to you. You can, so that you can see well. Okay. So this is the animal, and it is stag. That is Barasingha. So now let us talk about this stag. What properties this stag has? Stag is an animal. First of all, it is an animal. So let us draw UML diagram for that class, that is animal class. So here it is not a perfect UML diagram, just a road map of that, like that, a road map of the class. So here we have our animal class, and in this animal class, what animals can generally do? An animal can eat, an animal can walk also, and an animal can sleep. Okay, so let us write it here, some methods, that is it can eat, it can sleep, okay, and it can also walk. So this is our animal class. Now suppose we have our stag here. Since stag is an animal, so we have to write it here. It is a subclass. Here is our stag. So when we extend this, so when we write public class stag extends animal, what does it mean? It means that these public methods, that is all are public. Okay, so eat, sleep, walk, these methods, these all are public, not private. Okay, so these methods automatically are available to this child, that is stag. Okay, so these three methods, eat, sleep and walk, these three are available to the stag here. And stag can also define its own method. Suppose it can define its any method you name. What it can, it eat grass. So eat grass in evening, you can see eat grass in evening. So it can eat grass in evening, it can start. So stag is automatically going to have these three methods, and it can also declare its own methods. Now think about this. Stag extends animal. So stag extends animal, what does it mean? It means that a stag is a animal. Here we can write that is a. It is similar to this extends keywords. This extends keyword is used in programming. Okay, and the meaning, the theoretical term, that is a, means it is a conceptual term that stag is a animal. It is true or not? Yes, it is true. Since stag is an animal, so we can say that stag extends animal. That's why stag is a animal. So we can say that stag is in a relationship with the animal. Okay, so let me write it here, that is nothing but it is simply parallel to extends, and this is same as inheritance. Okay, we can say that inheritance, any class, any child class, when it extends its parent, that is the concept of inheritance, then we can say that child is is a relationship with the animal. That is, child is a, here you can say child stag is a animal. So we can say that stag and animal are in a is a relationship. Okay. So when extends keywords, extend keyword means it is parent and child are in is a relationship here. Okay. So I think it is very clear that stag is a animal simply. Okay. So here one very important point to be noted here is that while in inheritance, while a child extends a parent, that is here stag extends animal, then only the public methods and public instance variables are inherited to the child, not the private one. So here you can say no private members are inherited. That is very important point. And is nothing but another term for inheritance. That is, if a child, that is stag, extends animal, then we can say that stag is a animal. I think it is very clear now. Okay. So now let us understand about this has a relationship. Think of a scenario here. What that means has? Has means having something. Okay. So see here what I have for you. You can see here, this is my beautiful plant. Okay. And in this plant you can see this is a pot for this, that is gamla and this is my plant inside this. So basically in a single line what we can say that this plant, this pot has this plant. This pot has this plant. We cannot say that this pot extends this plant, or we cannot say that this plant extends this pot. Why? Because extends mean this is a this, means a pot is a plant. Is no, it is okay or not? No, it is not okay. A pot is not a plant, and a plant is not a plant, not a pot. Simply a pot has a plant. We cannot say that this pot extends this plant. Okay. So here suppose we have a pot. Here we have a pot class, P-O-T, pot class, and this pot has a plant. Okay. So we have to write it here that we have a plant. Suppose the name of the variable is also plant. Okay. So here we have a reference variable, that is plant, which is a type of plant. Means we will say that this pot has a plant. And what is the type of this plant? This plant is here. This plant is here. This is a class, and this plant is here. And let us talk about the properties of the plant. What we can say, the height of the plant. Suppose it is 2 feet. It is not 2 feet. 1.5 feet. Okay. So we can have a variable, instance variable height, HEIGST, and then we can say that the color of the plant, that is it is green color, and it is live or dead. The color here we can say, and if it is alive or not, this plant is alive. So we live or dead, we can take a boolean value, that is alive. If it is true, is alive, true, means this is green. Okay. So you can see here we cannot say that this plant extends this pot. If we will write this, it is not a feasible one. It does not sound good that a pot has a plant or a plant is a pot. Plant is a pot. So we can say that this pot has a plant. Okay. We will say that has a plant. This pot has a plant. That is, this pot class has a plant class, that is plant reference. Okay. So here you can say this plant is here. It is not extending. It is not in a is a relationship. It is has a relationship. So I think you are a little bit clear that this pot has a plant. It is has a property. It is not in a relationship of is. Another example. Let me take some other example so that you can get more clear. Okay, so here you can see the same example for the mobile. This mobile, okay, so if we have a mobile class, then we will say that this mobile has a screen. So we can have a screen class, screen sc. Suppose we can have a screen instance variable, that is, this instance variable is of type reference type of a screen. Okay, so we can have a screen, that is, we can say that this mobile has a screen, and we can have a separate screen class, and in that screen class we can define the size, that is display size, as a variable, display size. Suppose if we write that this mobile extends this screen, then what does it mean? It means that, just as the case of here, child is a parent, the same way screen is a mobile. Can we say that this screen is a mobile? No, this screen is not mobile. In mobile we have keypad, we have battery, we have processor, everything. This screen only is not a mobile, so it is inappropriate to say that this screen is a mobile. So saying that it extends, this screen extends mobile, that is screen is a relationship, is wrong. We cannot say that this screen is a mobile. What we can say that, since this screen is inside mobile and this whole mobile has a screen, this whole mobile has a keypad, this whole mobile has a battery, okay, this seems okay, so we can say that we have another class battery reference in the mobile, battery B, and we can also have the operating system OS, okay, OS. So and we can then we can have a separate battery class and OS class, okay. So here I think it is now clear that this mobile has a screen, this mobile has a battery, this mobile has an operating system. And now if you want to specify this battery, which type of battery what is the mAh of this battery, and if operating system, what is the operating system, it is Nokia, it is Symbian. So you can say here that it seems okay, it is proper to say that this mobile has a battery, this mobile has an display or screen and has an OS, okay. Here I should write battery. So now I think you got the basic idea of what is has a property and what is a property, and what important to understand is how to write the classes. That is, I just pick up this plant from my balcony and show you how to write the classes. Means anything which you saw in the living world, think of it as an object. It is an object. Now this is an object. So how will you create the how will you define its state and behavior? So simply I was taking this plant, this is an object, and here we have pot and plant. So that's why I was defining its state and behavior. So in plant we can have height, color, is alive. These are state and these are state. I have not written here any behavior here. We can have make food, that is photosynthesis, anything like that. But for now, understand that this class is a prototype for this plant, okay. So simply I have written this whole connection, that is pot and plant, this our gamla, okay. So this is our thing, this is the relationship of hazard. Now let us talk about the importance, which is much more important, or which is used widely. So by the point of importance, both are very important, both are equally important, but what we generally use means this plant, this has relationship is used widely, because here you can see in the same mobile class, that is in mobile class we use the screen, battery, OS and many things. So there will be many conditions in the real life where you will face that in a single class we are going to have multiple different components, that is those are the references, real references here, just like here screen, battery, operating system, just like that. So simply has a relationship is simply a connection that this property has something, acquires something, and ija is just like inheritance. It is, you can say, another term for inheritance. Okay, so I think you got the clear idea about the ija relationship and has a relationship, and which are widely used. Let's talk about the major profit. What is the profit of using is a relationship and has a relationship? The major profit, or you can say the major benefit or advantage of this ija and has is reusability. That is, that in single term it will be reusability. That is, it is reusable. Okay, the code reusability. Suppose how can we say that this is reusable? Okay, so in the case of inheritance, it is very clear. It is very clear that you can see that these three methods, if you want to access in child class, then you have not to write it again. So you save a line of code, many line of code. If there are 3000 or 4000 suppose method, usually usually a class does not contain such these many methods. Suppose we have a 40 methods. Okay, so if we want if we want these methods to be available in the child class, then these 40 methods are easily available just writing this keyword extends, and these 40 can be easily accessible, and these 40 must be public, not the private. If anyone is private, they are not inherited, they are not visible in the other class. Okay, so you can say that this code is reusable in the child class. So here you can easily see reusability, but in the case of has a relationship, it is hard to recognize where this code is reusable. But think of a scenario. Here we have a plant class. Okay, this plant class we have, but we want this plant class to be used. Means we have a plant, we have different type of plant. Okay, this is not a single type of plant, we have multiple type of plant, that is spider plant and many other plants. There may be flowery, maybe non-flowery. This is non-flowery plant. So this plant class as a whole can be used. So you need not to rewrite this plant class. Okay, so you save a lot of line of code and a lot of time. So this way, this whole class is reusable. Okay, so now I think has a relationship is clear. Now let us discuss two important terms which are related with the has a relationship. That is, the two important terms which are used generally, that is widely in with a has a relationship is composition and aggregation. Okay, composition and aggregation. So what is composition and what is aggregation? So simply, composition means having strong association. Means if components, that is pot and plant, these two components, if they are connected very tightly, that is if they are strongly connected, the connection between them is very strong that one cannot live without other, then it is called as composition. So here we can say that composition is strong connection or association. That is, composition is strong association between the components. Here pot has a plant, so pot and plant, these two components. So we will see in this example, that is pot and plant, if they lie under aggregation or composition. So let me define first what is composition. Composition is having the strong connection, that is having the strong association between the two components. And what is aggregation? It is having weak association. So here let me write it, weak association. Okay. So let us understand this composition, that is a strong connection between two components, and weak association, that is aggregation between two components. Let us understand with the same plant example. So what does mean strong connection? What does mean strong connection? A strong connection means if one dies, if something happens to one component, then other component does not leave, that is it dies automatically. In that case, means we can say that the two components are tightly, that is strongly connected. So here in case of pot and plant, if somehow suppose pot breaks, then what will happen? Will plant die? Think of it. No, plant will not die. We can plant that plant into another pot. Okay, so here we can say, or suppose what happens if plant dies? If plant dies, then it's okay, we can have another plant there. Okay, so pot will remain there, pot will be used to plant another plant. Okay, so we can say that these two, that is pot and plant, are weakly associated. Okay, they are weakly associated, means one can live without other, one can live without other. This is not a strong connection, this is a weak connection. Okay, if a connection is strong, then one cannot live without other. Okay, so we can say that this example, that is our plant and pot example, lies between the aggregation. Okay, and what is the strong connection? Let me tell you the story. Every one of us have heard of the story of Laila Majnu. If a scar was knifed on the hand of Majnu, then the same scar can be seen on the hands of Laila. Okay, so this was the strong connection. This is a very strong example of the strong connection. Okay, Laila can't live without Majnu, or Majnu can't live without Laila. If one dies, then other automatically dies. And in the movie also, both dies. If Majnu dies, then Laila also dies. Okay, so this is the simple example of a composition, that is strong association or strong connection. So I think you got the concept of association and aggregation here. So this was all regarding has a relationship and is a relationship. Okay friends.